Hey, I want to talk to you about something most people never really admit out loud. That feeling of nothing. Not sadness. Not anger. Just empty. Like you're living but not really here. You're doing things but not really feeling them. If that's familiar, I want you to know this from the start. You are not weird. You are not broken. You are not the only one. A lot of people feel this void inside. They just hide it very well. So today I want to sit with you and unpack it, not as a lecture, not as some big motivational speech, just as a quiet, honest conversation about why you sometimes feel empty, what might be happening in your brain and your body, and what you can gently start doing about it. No pressure, no judgment, just understanding. Swan. Let's put words to the feeling. First, let's try to describe it. Maybe for you, empty feels like this. You're not excited about anything. Things you used to enjoy feel flat now. You're around people, but you still feel alone. You're going through the motions, school, work, scrolling, but you feel like a ghost in your own life. When someone asks, "What's wrong?" you don't even know what to say, because you don't feel sad exactly. You just feel nothing. Some people call this emotional numbness, feeling hollow, and hedonia. That's a clinical word for can't feel joy. But whatever name you use, the experience is real. It's not being dramatic. It's not just laziness. It's not just a phase if it keeps happening. And before we try to fix it, we have to understand it. 2. Your brain's numb mode, not a failure, but a survival trick. Let me tell you something that might surprise you. Feeling empty is not your brain failing. It's your brain protecting you in a clumsy way. Think of your emotional system like an electrical circuit. If it gets overloaded with too much stress, too much pain, too much pressure, too many feelings, sometimes the system doesn't explode. It shuts down, like a safety fuse. Instead of letting you feel completely overwhelmed all the time, your brain sometimes says, "Okay, this is too much. I'm going to turn the volume down." So instead of intense feelings, you get flatness. Instead of big sadness or anger, you get nothingness. On the outside, that looks like, "I don't care anymore. I feel blank. I'm tired of everything. Nothing feels real." But underneath, it's often a sign of emotional overload plus exhaustion, not emotional absence. Your brain isn't empty, it's tired, really deeply tired. 3. The reward system. When dopamine is just tired. Now let's talk about a brain chemical you've probably heard about. Dopamine. Dopamine is not just the pleasure chemical. It's the motivation and reward chemical. It helps you look forward to things, feel a bit of excitement, get that spark of "I want to do this." Normally, when you do something meaningful or enjoyable, like talking to someone you love, eating something nice, finishing a task, learning something interesting, your brain gives you a small dopamine reward. Over time, that builds a sense of, life has some color, some taste, some point. But here's the problem. When you go through chronic stress, burnout, long-term anxiety or depression-like states, your dopamine system can get blunted, less responsive. That means things that should feel good don't feel as good. It's harder to feel motivated. It's harder to feel pleasure. And life starts to feel like, why bother? This is often what people mean when they say, "I don't feel anything anymore." The brain hasn't lost all emotion, but the reward pathway is exhausted, like a phone that's been used all day on high brightness, multiple apps, heavy usage. It still turns on, but the battery drains faster and faster. Your brain can feel like that too. 4. Burnout. When your emotional battery is beyond low, you've probably heard the word burnout. Most people think burnout is just work stress or academic stress, but it's deeper than that. Burnout is what happens when you've been under pressure for too long, with too little rest, too little support, too little real joy, and too much keep going, don't stop. You have to manage. Over time, your system moves through 3 stages. 1. Overdrive. You push, push, push. 2. Exhaustion. You feel tired, but still force yourself. 3. Emotional flatness. Your brain starts numbing your emotional responses to survive. At that last stage, people say things like, "I feel nothing towards work, towards people, towards myself. I'm here, but I feel like I'm watching my life from the outside. I feel like a robot." That's not weakness. It's a system overwhelmed. Think of it like this. If you run a machine non-stop without maintenance, it doesn't just slow down, Parts stop responding correctly. The human version of that is feeling empty. 5. When biology and psychology collide. So we've got emotional overload, dopamine exhaustion, chronic stress, and burnout. That's the biology part. Now add the psychology part. Past hurts that were never processed, loneliness, feeling misunderstood, losses that didn't get space to heal, long periods where you had to be strong and ignore your own needs. Put these together, and you get, I don't even know what I feel anymore. I just know I'm not okay. Many people with depression, anxiety, trauma, or long-term stress report emotional numbness and loss of interest or pleasure. Not always crying, sometimes just blank. Biology sets the stage. Psychology writes the script. Your life experience directs the scene. And you're stuck in the middle wondering, why am I like this? Why don't I feel normal? 6. The self-blame trap. Now, here's something your brain might be doing on top of all this. You don't just feel empty. You judge yourself for feeling empty. Thoughts like, other people have real problems. Why am I like this? I should be grateful. My life isn't that bad. I'm just lazy. If I really wanted to change, I would. Something is wrong with me as a person. But imagine this for a second. If someone came to you and said, I feel completely numb, I don't know what's wrong, and I hate myself for it. Would you say, yeah, you're just lazy, get over it? Of course not. You'd probably say, hey, something's going on, you're tired, you're overwhelmed, let's figure it out. But with yourself, you're harsher. You don't see burnout or emotional numbness. You see failure. And that makes the emptiness feel even heavier. Not only do you feel flat, you feel guilty for feeling flat. That's a lot to carry. 7. Short-term emptiness versus long-term emptiness. It also helps to notice what kind of emptiness you're feeling. Sometimes emptiness is short-term, like an emotional hangover, after a big fight, after crying a lot, after an exam or a huge project, after an intense event or big life change. Your system releases a ton of emotion, then goes quiet. That quiet can feel empty, but it's actually part of resetting. Other times, emptiness is long-term, weeks or months of not feeling much joy. Nothing really excites you. Relationships feel distant. You feel disconnected from yourself. This longer emptiness can be linked to depression-like states, burnout, chronic stress, unresolved grief or trauma, or a big meaning crisis, like not knowing who you are or what you want. Both types are important. But the long continuous kind is your mind and body waving a flag that says, something needs attention. I can't keep going like this. 8. The meaning piece. When life feels like a loop, there's another layer to emptiness that isn't just chemicals or stress. It's meaning. Humans don't just need food, water, shelter. We also need purpose, connection, a sense that we matter to someone, something to move toward. If your days are wake up, screen, school, or work, more screen, sleep, repeat, and almost nothing in there feels meaningful, important, or connected to your heart, your brain quietly starts asking, what is the point? And that what is the point feeling often shows up as emptiness. Not loud, not dramatic, just hollow. Sometimes it's not that there's something wrong with your brain. Sometimes your life has been stripped of things that feel alive, and your brain is simply reacting to that. 9. So what can you actually do about it? Okay, we've talked about emotional overload, dopamine exhaustion, burnout, stress, meaning, and self-blame. Now comes the big question. What can you do, practically, when you feel empty? Not unrealistic, change your whole life in 24 hours stuff. Tiny, real steps you can actually try. Let's go slowly. Step 1. Name it, gently, when you feel that hollow, numb, or disconnected sensation. Instead of saying, what is wrong with me? Why am I like this? Try this. I'm feeling empty right now. My system is tired. Something in me needs care, not punishment. Just that shift from what's wrong with me to what do I need is huge. You stop treating yourself like a broken machine and start treating yourself like a tired human. Step 2. Check the basics. Boring, but powerful. I know this sounds simple, almost too simple. But when emptiness shows up, the basics matter a lot. Are you sleeping even halfway decently? Are you eating something real, not just sugar and caffeine? Have you moved your body at all today? Even a short walk? Have you had real sunlight on your face? Have you drunk enough water? When your body is constantly underfueled, underrested, or overstimulated, Your emotional system has less energy to function. You're not a floating brain, you're a whole body. Helping your body even a little is like giving your brain a better working environment. Step 3. Lower the noise, just a bit. If your brain is exhausted, constant stimulation makes it worse. Endless scrolling, jumping between apps, always having something playing in the background, switching between tasks every few seconds. This kind of digital chaos fries your attention and your reward system. You don't have to quit everything, but you can. Put your phone in another room for 20 minutes. Study or work without extra background apps. Take a short walk without headphones. Eat one meal without a screen. Silence feels uncomfortable at first, but that silence is where your real feelings can actually breathe. Step 4. Tiny sparks, not big fireworks. When you feel empty, advice like find your passion or change your life feels impossible. Instead, think in tiny sparks, not big fireworks. Ask yourself, what is one small thing that is slightly better than doing nothing? Not amazing, just slightly better. Examples: sitting outside for 5 minutes, taking a warm shower slowly, listening to one song that used to mean something to you, watering a plant, writing one honest line in a notebook, cleaning just one corner of your room. These are not magical solutions, but they are small signals to your brain that I am still here. I can still care, even a tiny bit. Over time, these tiny sparks can slowly start waking up your numb circuits. Step 5. Reconnect in low-pressure ways. Emptiness often brings isolation. You feel numb, you withdraw. Life feels emptier, you withdraw more. To gently break that loop, think of low-pressure connection. Sending a meme to someone, replying to one message, saying hi to one person you see often, sitting in a cafe or park where other humans exist, even if you're not talking to them, playing with a pet. You don't have to suddenly become social, but your nervous system needs reminders that I am not completely alone on this planet. Sometimes, even being around life helps your brain remember it exists. My step 6. Allow feelings to thaw slowly. Here's something important. When you've been numb for a while, the first feelings that come back might not be pleasant. You might start to feel sadness, anger, grief, frustration. You might even think, I preferred feeling nothing. This hurts more. But that's like waking up a foot that fell asleep. At first it stings, tingles, hurts, then it becomes normal again. Numbness protects you short-term, but blocks everything long-term. If you allow yourself little by little to feel whatever is there, even if it's uncomfortable, you're actually moving through the emptiness instead of living inside it. You don't have to do this alone. You can journal. You can talk to someone you trust. You can cry. You can pray, if you're spiritual. You can sit with the feeling and just say, okay, I feel this. I don't have to fix it right now. I just have to not run from it. That's already healing. Step 7. When to ask for real help. Now I want to say something very clearly. If this empty feeling has lasted for many weeks or months, makes it hard to get through the day, is joined by thoughts like, nothing matters, people would be better off without me, or I don't want to be here, or if you feel like you might hurt yourself, this isn't something you should carry alone. That doesn't make you weak, it makes you human. Talking to a mental health professional, a therapist, counselor, psychiatrist, can help you untangle the biological side, like depression, burnout, or anxiety-related numbness. The psychological side, like old wounds, trauma, self-worth, and the lifestyle side, stress load, environment, relationships, online therapy, school, college counselors, local mental health services. Any of these can be a starting point, depending on what's available where you live. If you ever feel like you're in immediate danger of hurting yourself, it's important to reach out to an emergency number or crisis helpline in your country, or to a trusted adult or friend. Even if words are hard, you are not a burden. You are a human being who deserves help. Define 10. What I want you to remember, let's pull this together, just for you. That empty feeling you get, it might be your brain's way of protecting you from emotional overload, your reward system being tired after too much stress, burnout from pushing yourself without enough rest, loneliness or lack of meaning, or old pain that never got the chance to heal. You are not crazy. You are not useless. You are not beyond repair. You are a person whose system has been running too hard for too long, with too little care, and your emptiness is not your identity. It's a signal that you need gentler expectations. You need small pockets of rest. You need some real connection. You need moments of honesty with yourself. And maybe you need help from someone trained to walk people out of that void. You don't have to fix everything today. You don't have to suddenly feel happy or grateful. If all you do today is listen to this, and maybe drink some water, and maybe step outside for 2 minutes, that's already movement. Tiny, quiet movement, but movement. And little by little, over time, that's how frozen ground starts to thaw. You are not alone in this, and you are not stuck forever. This emptiness is part of your story, but it is not the whole story, and it does not have to be the ending. This was your file today, from Body Logic Files. Take care of that mind of yours. It's been carrying a lot more than you realize.